Hello again, everyone. This is Bob Martin with RCSub.com and the Nautilus Dry Docks, and just wanted to share with you another little quick project. This is a 66.5-inch custom replicas Nautilus, and this was actually a project that I put together back in 2009 for a friend down here locally in Florida, and it found its way back to the shop here for a little bit of, I guess, maintenance and upgrade. So I wanted to show you what we started with and where we ended up. Alright, to begin with, let me show you how I had set this up back when I had originally created it. And you've got to bear in mind that this was actually the very first RC custom replicas Nautilus that I had built for another person. So I've changed the way that I've done things now, but it certainly worked, well back then. So the hull is split obviously into top and bottom halves, and to get access to the interior you remove the side salon bezels, and the owner actually tethered it with a cable, which is a really good idea, and these are held on magnetically on each side. And then once that's done, there's two stainless steel screws that go up just underneath the salon, and actually I've already got those removed. So those come out on each side, and then there is a catch under the top here, and you just slide that back. It's a little lever. With that being done, you just lift up and pull back. And now we've got access to the inside. So this is what we are looking at in the current setup. So there's a few things that I had done. We had actually swapped out these old nickel metal hydride pack. I believe this was about a 4500 milliamp hour battery pack for something a little bit more substantial, as you can see. And this is a 13 amp nickel metal hydride battery pack. In the previous setup there was a cylinder in here that you would slip the battery pack into, but this is actually a waterproof battery pack. We made it so by sealing the ends, and we've got some heavy duty shrink wrap that goes around the outside of it. We got a waterproof battery connector in here, and that connects to the main power supply of the boat right here. And going forward, we've got a nice large ballast tank, and really for RC submarines this is the ideal setup. So the propel cylinder is situated directly in the center, so that as it empties you're not changing the trim of the boat. It's very fat and very short because what you don't want to have happen is water to slosh back and forth inside, and again that upsets your balance as well. This is the lead for the lighting system, and you can see its mate right there on the other side. And again, these are waterproof connectors. Previously, the top and bottom hulls were connected via a wire, and you couldn't separate them, so I added that connector in there for a little bit more versatility. Another waterproof connection right here for the main power that runs into the front of the cylinder. And again, that means you can remove the connector and take the cylinder out without it being having to wend a wire all the way up to the battery compartment. So the other thing that we've done is I've actually put in one of the wireless remote on-off switches. If you've been following my other projects, you'll have seen that I used that in my Type 7 project. So basically, to power the model on, you simply utilize this switch, which is pretty slick. It means you don't have to break into the model at all to turn it on and off. And then the last thing that we did, we actually cleaned up the seam in the back here. And it was when the top and bottom halves were put together, there was probably you know, a 1/16 of an inch, maybe 3/32 of an inch gap. And so we actually cleaned that up a bit and did some additional weathering of the hull. So I'm going to put the top back on and you can see how that worked out. All right, we'll get this put back on. And now, as I said, if we were putting this ready for the pond, we'd connect our lighting power like this. The rear section slides into place, and then the front drops down just like that. So we'll take a look at the seam in the back here now, a little bit closer so you can see what we managed to accomplish. So you can see the seam is basically tight there right now. And the real trick to that process was actually trying to match the paint, and it was virtually impossible because the paint finish that I had on there was like a 4-step process, and to match a very small area to that exactly was very difficult. And so what we ended up doing is a little bit of a compromise. We weathered this using my standard weathering technique, and then we added additional weathering kind of all down the hull, so you can see it looks less of an aberration in the paint finish and more like something that was supposed to be there. So this is all ready for pickup here now. Of course, what I needed to do when I dropped this in the pond was to retrim it, and so I added a significant amount of foam in the front there to take into account the weight difference between the two battery packs. But theoretically, this is going to be all ready to go. Owner should be coming to pick it up this week, and if we have the chance, we'll drop it in the pond and take some video for you guys there too. All right, everyone, good news and bad news. The good news is that the wet trials of the sub went absolutely perfectly, and I apologize I didn't get any video. I will rectify that situation for you. However, when we pulled it out and we went to create an auxiliary lighting power solution so that it could be displayed with the light stopped working. And we were absolutely confounded. It took us like 2 hours of troubleshooting, and ultimately what we ended up finding that it was the circuit board, and this is the waterproofed version of it. Bear in mind, this was back in 2009. It was still kind of getting my feet underneath me in regards to this kind of thing. So, this is a solid state circuit board, came from Voodoo Effects. It's more designed for static display models. So you can see it required me to do a lot of waterproofing, and I can't see any signs of corrosion in this, although we did have some problems with this power regulator previously. So I think this is the culprit. Into the garbage it goes, and what we're going to do is something a little bit simpler, and I guess a more modern way of doing it, at least the way that I do it. And this is what we're working on right now. Here is all of the LED lights. You can see these lower 4 on this bank, for example, run up, and I've got these wired in series with resistors. So 2 resistors, 1 for each side, 4 LEDs. And really, in order to do this, you just use an online calculator. And in this particular case, for a 3.2 volt LED light, that pulls 20 milliamps of current, which is fairly common for these cool white LEDs. I needed an 82 ohm resistor in series with the circuit there. So that's what I've got going on, and this works perfectly. So now what I need to do is the same thing for the top, which has significantly more lights for it. And then I'm going to redo the harness on the bottom here. So the continuing saga, the continuing drama, we'll get you guys some video of the finished product here soon, I promise. Thanks for watching. Okay, Eureka! We've got it figured out. It was indeed the electrical modules that were the issue. I've tested it, and I'm going to show it to you guys here right now. So there's a couple of different ways to power on the lights. If he's at the pond, is going to be powering off the main drive battery, which is in there right now. This is 14.4 volts, and all of these LEDs were set up for 14.4 volt operation. Driving them at 12 volts will make them just slightly less bright, but they'll run a little bit cooler, obviously. So we'll plug in our main drive battery, and we've got lights. We've got them in all locations. Everything seems to be working well. So if we unplug that, for display, what we've actually got is a power adapter that gets snaked up through the bottom hatch and into the model, and then it gets plugged in right here, and it's not plugged in yet, so bear with me a second. Eureka, they work. So I'm exceptionally happy. We got this issue all sorted out, so the last thing to do is drop this thing back in the water, get you guys a little bit of video of it diving. So thanks for staying with me. All right, about to drop the model in the water, and we'll check the trim one last time and see what removing those circuit boards did. Really not forecasting a lot. They were right in line with the ballast tank, and they didn't weigh very much at all. So I think we're going to be in good shape. We'll drop this thing in the water and I'll show you guys what sort of trim we managed to achieve with it. Okay, what you are looking at right here is surface trim, full surface trim. The ballast tank is completely empty, and the water line coming just above the salon shroud there. The thing you got to notice here is that it's on a perfectly level keel. So it's about 1.25 inches. Actually, it's exactly 1.25 inches because I measured it, front to back from the deck height to the water. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the transmitter, and we're just going to do a nice slow dive, and we'll show you guys how nice and smooth she goes down, and most importantly that she goes down on an even keel. Move this slightly closer so you can see. Okay, we're venting the tank. Just slightly more in the front. And I'm going nice and slow here to show you what kind of control we get. And down she goes. And come back up again, just giving a few little burps of the gas. And all the way up. I'm going to back up just a little bit here, and we're going to do that one more time, nice and easy for you. Down she goes. It's just neutrally buoyant there right now underneath the water. Give it a little bit more of a burp, and up she comes nice and easy. There you go. fully operational with lighting, ready for the owner to take it out and get it wet. So thanks a lot to those of you that followed this little update. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more. If you have any questions, be sure to email me, bob@rc-sub.com, and check out my website for these and many other projects, rc-sub.com. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll catch you next time.